Well, hey everybody. We're looking at like episode 6 right now. I think we're just going to stop calling episodes episode numbers and just going to go on with the projects. So a while ago, I had done a conversion from the standard rotation water pump to a reverse flow water pump for the Mustang motor. Because I had removed a power steering bypass pulley, I removed the air pump, and that serpentine belt snaked all the way around different pulleys, which was a waste of space, time, and all that fun stuff there. So I just wanted to neat it up. Put on a brand new water pump, and roughly probably a couple weeks after that, I noticed a coolant leak. So I couldn't find it. I started poking through, cleaning things, and finally I found it. And it's coming from the timing chain cover on the passenger side of the engine, right where the coolant port is. It's coming from that gasket, and it's pulling up between the engine block and the timing chain cover. I was kind of hoping if I ran it for a little bit, in the New England weather here because it's cold, if I ran it for a little bit and it got hot, it would seal and close up. I'm not going to take that chance because I plan on putting a lot of miles on the car and I don't want to get stranded anywhere. So, today's plan, we're going to drain the oil. It's due for an oil change anyways. I'm going to drop the oil pan. Then I'm going to go to the front of the engine. I'm going to remove the water pump and the timing chain cover, clean it all up, reseal all that, put in the pan back on with a brand new gasket. Yes, you can do this job without dropping the oil pan. I have the convenience with this car to drop that oil pan, I believe, without interfering with any engine cross members. So it's going to be easier for me to do that. Looks like the oil pan is probably the original one from when the engine was built back in the late 90s. So it has a little bit of seepage. I just want to clean it up, make it as pretty and neat as possible. So while I'm there, it's getting a whole bottom end reseal and the front end of the engine, and then it'll go back together. Fingers crossed. That'll be one more leak resolved and off the checklist. So I'm going to be running solo today. I'm going to do the best I can to grab some pictures here and there of what I'm doing. So just kind of hang in there, and hope you enjoy what I'm doing here. So that's it. Off to the bottom of the car to drain the oil. So here we have I got a drain bucket here for the antifreeze, and I got a drain bucket underneath. I already drained the oil. There's 2 drain plugs on the 5.0 oil pan, so be sure to remove both of those there. And if you can see up inside the fender well here, let's see if I can see much here with this. There's the radiator right there, and there's the hose, and then it goes up. You get the lighting just right here, and it goes to a corrugated adapter. And if you go up top here, there's the corrugated hose, and it goes to the thermostat water neck there. I did order up a brand new thermostat as well. I believe it's a 195 or something like that, 193 degree for this Mustang motor. I already moved the serpentine belt. Once I remove this upper hose, I'm going to go ahead and remove the water neck for the thermostat. I'll clear that out of the way. Then I'll probably drop down below. I'm going to pull off the crank pulley and probably pop back up to the water pump. I'll remove the water pump off the timing cover. That'll give me a little more room to get in there with the harmonic balancer puller and start disassembling the front of the motor. Once I get that off, I will then go underneath and pull that oil pump, the oil pan. I just got to undo the bolts. So, all right, catch up in a little bit. Okay, we are getting most of the bolts out of the water pump here. You can see pulling those out. Got the antifreeze drained, and just have a couple of bolts on the bottom I'm going to go ahead and remove. And then we're going to go ahead and pluck that water pump off. Then we'll go ahead for that timing cover, and then we'll go off to that oil pan. Actually, we're going to go ahead and tackle that water neck once we get that water pump off, I think. So let's just see how it goes, and just got to get everything off eventually. So just hang in there, and we'll see see what else we're going to do here. so we're gonna have to go ahead and do a, we have to pull the harmonic balancer. So I got this from Harbor Freight. They're not endorsing me. They didn't give me any free tools. I went down and I bought this myself. So I figured for the, I think it was what, 12 or 13 bucks for this kit, 46-piece set. If I can use it once for this job, it's paid for itself as far as I'm concerned. So let's take a look. This actually looks like a pretty decent kit. It's pretty well assembled. Get various amounts of bolts, as long as these bolts work pretty decent. Yeah. So let's go ahead and assemble this thing and pull that harmonic balancer bolt. Well, we got the harmonic balancer pulled off. I was able to use 2 studs. It says 4 bolt holes in it, but actually it has multiple bolt holes in it, but I figured I'd just use the 2. And the pulley system worked great. So, hey, for the 12 or 13 bucks it's going to cost you, it's worth the investment if you're going to go ahead and do this job here. And you can see it has multiple other hardware, pieces of bolts, washers, all that stuff. So, I don't know. Works good for me. Okay, here we go. We got the harmonic balancer pulled off. There is a timing cover there with the new / old gasket now. And we're going to find a series of these little bolts right here. There's one there, there's probably one over on the other side. I don't know what they are. I'm just going to kind of fish around, see what I can find here, and we're going to go ahead and remove this there and plop the cover off. Next would be that thermostat water neck with that hose, because I actually have a new cooling system, or not cooling system, but a new cooling tee coming in from Breeze Automotive to replace that ugly corrugated crap. So that'll be coming in next week. So you can obviously tell now that this will be breaking in a little bit, and then we'll pick up next week when I do the installation of all the other goodies here. So stick around. So back on top of the engine here, and I went to the bottom side, and you have to undo 4 bolts on the front of the oil pan to release the bottom side of the timing cover. On the upper portion here, it made it a hell of a lot easier for me to remove the thermostat water neck, because you have to get to that bolt right there and that bolt right there. I'm sure you probably will get to it using like an old distributor wrench or something like that, but I'm pulling this all apart anyways. It just made it easier for me to do it, so that's where we're at. I'm going to remove those 2 bolts, that one right there and that one there, and I'm going to go ahead and try and give this a good old plucking. There was also a bolt right there you can see in the center of the screen, and another one just below it, I believe. So not too many bolts holding this cover on. Let's go ahead and take care of that. Alright, I get those bolts out, but I wanted to show you, let me see if we can zoom in here. There is the coolant down in there. That was leaking, and apparently that's a pretty common spot for it to be leaking. Can't get that into focus, but it's okay. It's on the passenger side, part of that timing cover. So can't wait to see what that gasket looks like. I should have this off in just a minute. Well, we get the timing cover off. Looks like it's still in good shape here. I left a couple bolts in here. And this is the side that was leaking. Doesn't seem to be any defects or anything weird here with this, but I'm going to take you underneath the car and show you what we see there, okay? Alright, well, here we go. That's the, let's see if we can get this into focus here a little bit. I actually get some timing gears in here, and if you can see, Yeah, these are the noisy ones. Makes it sound like there's a supercharger under the hood. They do whine, but it's a cool whine, so it's not a big deal. I like how to groove on it. I can't get the camera up in there too good, but, well, there we go. That's a side up here was leaking, that gasket. And if you look, actually the driver's side is pretty nasty, but that side wasn't leaking. Go figure. So I'm gonna move on to the oil pan. Gonna drop the oil pan so I can put a brand new gasket on that. Clean it all up. Actually, once I get that oil pan off, it'll be pretty much cleaning time. All gaskets and all that stuff there, and remove all the residual material. Get it ready for reassembly. So not too bad. All right, let's get to it. Well, it was a success today so far. So I was able to get the engine torn apart, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what I have torn apart on the bench. Next is clean up. I have to clean up all the parts, clean all the gaskets on the engine, and then start the reassembly. So let's take a look here. All right, so we got our serpentine belt. We have our water pump. Let's see, why do we not want to focus here? We got a water pump, harmonic balancer, timing cover, oil pan braces, and the oil pan. So we are doing good, pretty stoked. We'll go ahead and clean things up and do the reassembly. That'll probably be our next episode, see if anything pops up while we're there. But looking forward to getting my new gaskets, and I'll show you what I got for gaskets for that project. All right, till next time.